And we are live. All right. Well, thank y'all for joining. The people who have joined us today, we have a back-to-back interviews today for you on the Rising Texan podcast, and we're going to be talking to the 293rd Judicial District Attorney Roberto Serna, and then shortly after, we will be speaking with Maverick County Attorney Jaime Iracheta. And the reason why we're having interviews with them were because just on Monday's Maverick County Commissioners Court meeting, they did have interaction with the court that was somewhat of I guess, notable interaction with the court. So we wanted to go ahead and bring them on and ask them for their perspective on what happened, why they were out there, what was it that they were trying to accomplish, and how did they feel whenever they got, or how they got treated. And right now, it's the 7 o'clock hour, so we got our first interview. Since we have our first interview with Roberto Serna, so we're going to go ahead and bring him on. Hey, Mr. Serna, how are you doing this evening?
Yeah, just fine, sir.
First of all, we want to thank you for joining us. We know you had a recent Commissioners Court meeting that you attended, and we know you're a busy guy and you attend when you can, but there was a very important, public hearing going on having to do with the budget of for Maverick County and the community and its constituents. So we happened to catch the Commissioners Court meeting, the live feed of it. And we saw you doing something for your office, for your community, and that's what it was brought to our attention. So thank you very much for attending. We really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Okay, first of all, the first question, somebody's seeing the video. I'm sure it's in the back of the minds of our viewers. Is it, how did you feel coming out of that meeting? Because there was, I saw from the very beginning, and this is my opinion, of course, the judge was had a little temperament with you from the very beginning. Others may think differently, but what were you there for? What caused the interaction? What was Mr. Serna, the 293rd District Attorney, doing there?
Well, it was a budget workshop. We did need to present the facts to the County Commissioners Court. I thank the Commission for allowing us to address our serious concerns to them. This is the time when agencies such as the District Attorney's Office or the agencies go before County Commissioners Court to tell them the truth, tell them facts, and justify why they're asking for a certain amount for their budget. Now, we know, and let's not kid ourselves, we're in a crisis right now. Maverick County is in a crisis, and it's being caused by several factors. One of them is COVID-19. Now it's worse than it was back in January. It's a very serious problem, and we also have a massive influx of other people from foreign countries coming in through our borders. What we have been experiencing, unfortunately for Maverick County, is an alarming rise in crime, and that's to be expected for several factors. Number one, when you had the COVID restrictions back in March of 2020, we noticed in April and May of 2020 of last year that there was an increase, significant increase in drugs, methamphetamine, for example. I've been district attorney for 31 years. I've never seen it this bad. There's been an increase in property crimes. I've never seen it that bad either. And I think it's connected to the drug use. We've had more domestic violence cases, more assaults, more sexual assaults than I've ever seen in my career as an attorney when I started practicing law in 1981. Since I became a district attorney for Zavala Demon and Maverick in 1991, 31 years ago, I've never seen something like this. And because we have these crises in our hands, we need to react because we took an oath to protect and defend the citizens of our community. But you have to have sufficient funding in order to do the job that you took an oath to do. I made a presentation, not for me, not for the district attorney, not for the district attorney's office, but for the people of Maverick County. It is them that we represent. It is them that we care about, and it is them that we went up and said this. This is what we said to them. Look, we're here in good faith. We have nothing. I know that the county commissioners, the commission, they're good people. I mean, I'm not going to say they're bad people. Well, of course not. They're not. But that's what budget workshops are for. You go there and you state your reasons as to why you need an increase, and you tell them what the facts are on the ground, and what the frontline situation is, and what is needed in order to combat the rising crime in Maverick County. Now, I told them the truth. We have, like I said, we have only 15 staff members in our office. We have 3 counties. When you look at it, we're a very small office. Only for Maverick County, we only have 5 employees.
Yeah, because I think it was Commissioner Ms. Cantu that kept on bringing up about how many employees you have, and that's one of the questions I wanted to get into. Sorry for interrupting, but they say that you only have 15 employees. Now, I think what maybe a lot of people didn't get a chance to realize was you do have 3 counties. So these people are addressing these 3 counties, which I believe Maverick is the busiest one. But it's still 3 other counties that need to get addressed. So there is a lack of resources. There is a lack of funding. You guys have been with the same budget for how long?
Well, we've been at the same amount for 2 years, and if they keep it the same, it's going to be 3 years in a row. Now let's talk about what's been happening. How much was a gallon of gas last year? $2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How much is it now?
Yeah, it's getting up there.
It's about $3.25.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now you have the same budget. Last year, yes, we could buy gas for $2 and we'd be fine. But now that it's gone up to $3.25, we can't afford the gas. Why? Is the money being misspent? No, it's not. Are we misusing the funds? No, of course not. The price of gas has gone up. So.
And that's a big factor, because especially you guys that have to address cases, be back and forth. I mean, gas is a big factor for any county department. Let's put it that way, or any other entity like that, right?
And I'm not talking about the gas usage for Maverick County only, because we have to travel to Maverick County as well. And I'm talking about going to the locations that we need to go to in Maverick County. Maverick County, let's not forget, Maverick County is also Quemado. It's also El Indio. You don't get a bus ride over there. It's not free. And I'm just making this example to show that even something as simple as transportation is expensive. You have maintenance. Last year, it was not as expensive as it is this year to maintain your vehicles. It's not. Why? Because you want an oil change now, it's more expensive than it was last year. And we're talking about the expenses, the office expenses. You want office supplies now? They're going to cost more than they were last year, because if you have anybody out there who wants to build a house now, or who wants to add a room to their house, and you look at the cost of the material now as it was 2 years ago, it's more than triple. And that's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many people are not building houses or adding to their house simply because they cannot afford it. Well, the same thing with the district attorney's office. We cannot stay in a budget from 2 years ago for another third year when all the prices have gone up. We can't do it. And let me tell you this. Okay, now, all right, we had COVID-19 hit. We were shut down. I understand that. What happened? Well, there was a dramatic increase in methamphetamine in Maverick County. Who is it affecting? Is it affecting the district attorney's office? No, it's not. It's affecting your family. It's affecting your children, your sons, your daughters, your granddaughters, your grandkids, your fathers, your mothers. Your family's being affected. because drugs don't care. They don't pick and choose. They go after everybody, and they go into all neighborhoods. And when you have drugs in your neighborhoods, which we do, that we didn't have years before, you're going to have, well, first of all, drugs are a crime. And then you ask yourself, well, why is it that we have so much drugs staying here in Eagle Pass now? Well, when you shut down the economy like we did last year, you did a lot of drugs that used to just pass through Eagle Pass and go to Dallas, Houston, Fort Worth, Chicago, San Francisco. They stayed in Eagle Pass. What happens with meth? Meth is highly addictive. Highly addictive. It's almost as worse as heroin. And once you get addicted to meth, you've got a serious problem for life, in most cases. Now, these people are good people, but they suffer from an addiction. So what do you do when first of all, you're committing a crime, but what do you do when you need drugs and you don't have any money?
Yeah, you resort to theft or breaking into homes or anything to get your next high or what have you. Yeah,
that's exactly what's happening. We've had a very large increase in burglary of buildings. People are breaking into buildings, restaurants, businesses downtown. They're breaking into people's tool sheds. They're breaking into people's houses, and that's happening. That's true, and it's happening in your neighborhood. I bet you that everybody that's listening today, I think they know someone who's been burglarized. Either they stole their lawnmower or they stole their water hose. This property is being stolen from the citizens of Maverick County, and that wasn't like that before. And also, you're having more domestic violence. I don't know exactly what it is that's caused it, but I think it has a lot to do with we're being overwhelmed by criminals, drug use, thefts, people without jobs or people that lost jobs, who are taking it out on their spouses or who are beating their children, who are beating their wives or their husbands. These crimes, they didn't exist before, and now they do exist. Tragically, another awful crime is being committed in your hometown, if you pass Command Indio, is sexual assault. It's somebody's daughter, it's somebody's granddaughter, somebody's sister, somebody's mother, and we need to protect them. And the only way we can do that is if we properly fund law enforcement. Now, who is the head law enforcement officer in Maverick County? It's the district attorney by law. Now, you can have a police force, and we do. You can have for example, the Maverick County Sheriff's Office, great investigators, have nothing bad to say about them. Great deputies, have nothing bad to say about them. But you can give them $1 million, and they can make 1,000 cases, and they can. But that's only the beginning. Those cases mean nothing if the prosecutor, the district attorney, cannot afford to prosecute those cases in the courts. Now, we've been very active in the 293rd through Zoom. As a matter of fact, the day before yesterday, we did sentence an individual to 3.5 years to prison. Yesterday, we put another one on probation. And on Friday, we have here in Maverick County alone, and only for one day, we have 85 cases set for Friday.
Oh, wow.
So we have this situation where, in order to be able to prosecute these cases, in order for us to be able to protect your families, we can't just give money to the sheriff's office. I'm glad they're getting the money. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad they're getting the money. It's the right thing to do. But if you look at it the way it's built, it's intertwined. If you feed the body, which is the people on the streets, and I'm very proud of them, who do the legwork, who build the cases. But once the cases are completed, if you cut off the head of the district attorney's office and you don't allow for them to have sufficient funds to prosecute these cases, it means nothing. You can arrest somebody, but if you can't prosecute them because the district attorney's office does not have the resources, then you might as well just close down the sheriff's office. You don't need it. If people are not going to get punished for their crimes, then have it. It's like having a brand new car full of gas, which is our local law enforcement. But if the district attorney's office doesn't have any money, then you have a brand new car full of gas, but it has no wheels. You're not going anywhere. You can have
Now that brings a question to my mind. Now you're talking about, let's say there's all these crimes. There's they're giving money to the Maverick County Sheriff's Department, which they lack a lot of funding. They lack a lot of resources. I worked there in the office, and in 2019, there's very rare moments where 3-4 people have to share a small little office. You know, it already outgrew itself as a department, and I'll say that from my end. The Maverick County Sheriff's Department, they're severely lacking resources. But you're saying that now you give them funding, you know, let them do what they need to do, which is at their level, would to be arrest, apprehend, bring criminals, stop the crime, protect and serve. But everybody has their next step after they've been brought through that process, which would be being prosecuted for what they're being accused of, right? So
exactly. I'm sorry.
So then when it gets to you, it's kind of a bottlenecking, I guess, if you want to say, because they're sending everybody down there, and you can only do so much with the resources you have. Just the same thing as the Maverick County Sheriff's Department. So explain about those difficulties and the thing that you're dealing with that, because I've received several word, but I have never gotten documentation or anything about, let's say, our recent border issues with people that are illegally crossing and the people helping the people illegally cross. Now, I've heard from several sources, like I said, I don't have the documents to back it up, but a lot of these people are just getting there and they're just getting bonded out. They're never seeing the jail, or they're not, you know, waiting at the jail. They're not, you know, they're being allowed to get off in whatever process it is, but because the jail is full right now. Now,
I understand that the jail is full. That is correct, and people that should not be out in the streets are on the streets, but that's an issue. And let me make this very clear. I back the blue. I highly respect law enforcement officers. My father was a county sheriff until he retired from Salvador County. So I know how hard our law enforcement officers, our policemen work, our constables, and I support them 100%. And I think that if they can fund them more, we should, because what's more important than our security, our children's security? Not much, if anything. So I fully support giving funds to law enforcement. I do not believe in defunding the police. I do not believe that now, and I've never believed that. You cannot defund the police because you'll go into chaos. But what I'm trying to say is that it is intertwined. You have your law enforcement, and then you have your prosecution working together. If you have your law enforcement fully funded, but your district attorney's office not funded, then close it down. The system's broken. It's not going to work. And again, the reason that you go to county workshops for the budget is to point out these facts and just tell them the truth and say, look, we cannot function at this level. We need more money. Why? Well, we need for example, we do need another investigator from Maverick County. We do. A full-time investigator from Maverick County, because we have a lot of cases that we have to work from Maverick County. We do have a need for another secretary. We do need a need for another clerk. Now, let me tell you this. This is something that some people may not know, but the district attorney's office also handles all juvenile cases in Maverick County. All juvenile cases. 100% of the juvenile cases come to the district attorney's office. How many district attorney assistants do we have in the juvenile division? 0. How many investigators do we have assigned to juvenile cases? 0. How many cases do we have? How many secretaries do we have assigned to juvenile cases? 0. We do them, but without any funding, no money. I do them. I do, which is fine. But the thing is that we don't even have a juvenile section in our office. We cannot even afford a domestic violence section in our office. We don't have the DAs. We don't have the investigators. We don't have the secretaries. We don't. Most district attorney offices are well funded in larger cities. And for example, you go to Laredo, you go to El Paso, you go to other district attorney's office. They have domestic violence units. They have juvenile units. They have sexual assault units. They have specialized attorneys for sexual assaults. They have specialized attorneys for child abuse, for juvenile cases. We don't have that in Maverick County, and I understand that we're not going to get that. I understand that, but I do know that in order to be able to continue on forward, we need to support law enforcement. As the head law enforcement officer for the county of Maverick and Dima and Zavala, I'm saying that I know your intentions are good. I'm not accusing anybody in the county commissioner's court of ill intent or vicious intent. Not at all. I respect every single one of them. I went there with the utmost respect for all five of them, and I left there with the utmost respect for all five of them, because that's not my style. I go there just to tell them the truth and tell them this is what's happening. These are your constituents, the people that voted for you, Commissioner, Precinct 1, 2, 3, and 4, Judge, the people that elected you into office, elected you to serve them and protect them. We live in a society that's a structured society. We have to follow rules. We have to obey the law. But in order to enforce our rules of society, for example, you just can't pass a red light on Main Street every day, because eventually you're gonna have an accident.
Yeah.
In order to enforce these rules, these laws in society, you have to have sufficiently funded law enforcement. For example, even for a speeding ticket, if you get a ticket, but you don't have prosecutors to prosecute those speeding tickets in court, that speeding ticket's going to be dismissed. You know, it's that simple.
Yeah.
You just need to have funding. And we're not asking for much. Over the last, this is going to be the third year at the same amount.
Now, how much is it an increase? Okay, you're saying that this 30 year would be the same amount for the past. This would be the 30 year, right? So 2 years, you'd be given the same amount. You're asking for how much more for this year?
130, but if you divide that by 3 years, that's not very much, because it's for the last 2 years or the future year. So divide 130 by 3.
Oh, well, that would be your term, right? That's correct.
Yeah, it would be if you were to divide the $130 by 3 years, we're not asking for a major increase. We're just asking for the county commissioners to make up for the last 2 years where we didn't get the money we should have gotten, or in our opinion. Now, we can all have different opinions. I understand that, and I understand that some people are going to disagree with me. I understand that as well. But let me just do the math here, and I know that. Because that's our system of, it's 43,000 that we're asking for the last 2 years. It's not even 45,000, not even 44,000. But I understand that people are not going to agree with me on a lot of issues, and that's fine. We live in a democracy. People have a right to criticize their district attorney. They have every right to do that. They have a right to criticize the office of district attorney. If they feel that something is not right, they have every single right to criticize it. We are Americans. We are proud Americans. And we all have a First Amendment right to say what we feel and what we believe without fear of prosecution. So if you badmouth the DA or the district attorney, nothing's going to happen to you. We don't believe in that. I will not allow that. Because this is your district attorney's office. We represent you. I hold the office of district attorney because it was a mandate that was given to me by the people of Maverick, Dima, and Zavala. Now, I want to touch on something else, and this is not an attack on anybody. But some months ago, there was a bill that was introduced where they wanted to have Maverick County have their own district attorney. I was never asked. My position If we need it, let's do it. Let's create it. If it's in the best interest of you, my friends that listen out there, if it's in the best interest that you, Maverick County, have your own district attorney, I support it 100%. But if you don't have communication with me, the district attorney, that you want to have that done, and what is the situation at the district attorney's office, if I can't explain to you the situation, then it's never going to pass. It's not going to happen. Why is it not going to pass? Well, first of all, I was elected to a 4-year term, 4 years. I'm in my first year. By constitutional law, my district cannot be separated. In other words, Zavala and Maverick cannot be separated until my term expires. In other words, if we were to have another district attorney's office in only for Maverick County, that cannot happen until after January the 1st of 2025. That's constitutional law. Why? Because the people of Maverick County elected me as a district attorney for Zavala and Maverick. The people of Zavala County voted me as a district attorney for Zavala, Dimmitt, and Maverick. The people in Dimmitt voted for me for Zavala, Dimmitt, and Maverick. It wasn't just for Maverick or just for Dimmitt or for Zavala, it's for all three. So in order for you to be able to create another district attorney's office, you have to wait until January the 1st of 2025. Had anybody approached me, I would have told them right then and there, the first day, the first phone call. I said, look, I'll be happy to discuss this. Let's discuss it. Let's make plans now. But we can't do this until January the 1st of 2025 because constitutional law, Texas law, the Texas Constitution says you can't do it. But I'll work with you. And if we need to break up the district, let's break it up. But
now you're talking about. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're talking about State Representative Eddie Morales, the District 74. He's the one who submitted that bill. And similarly, he submitted a bill just recently as well with the creating magistrates that'll serve at the pleasure of Maverick County's Commissioner's Court, which in turn is kind of, I guess, overriding or somewhat of the justice of the peace that are currently elected, as are yourself as well, as you mentioned, to serve the people. Now,
let me respond to that. I have high respect for our representative. I respect the man. I don't have anything against the man. He's a gentleman. He's our state representative, duly elected by the people. So I respect him because he's an elected official. But let's talk about this since you brought it up. Our justice of the peace are elected by the voters of that precinct. Precinct 1, Precinct 2, Precinct 3, Precinct 4. They're elected. Magistrates, if you get a magistrate through this bill, I read the bill, and it isn't passed. It's been reintroduced again, and it failed again. So he filed it twice, and it both times.
Twice. Oh, wow.
It twice. Now, the magistrates, they serve at the will of the county commissioners. They're going to be employees of Maverick County. Are they going to be accountable to you, the voters? No. Because statute says that they will serve the times and hours and dates and be either part-time or not, and at the will of the commissioner's court. So in other words, if a magistrate gets a phone call from someone and he does something, and if county commissioners don't like it, they can fire him on the spot. On the spot. Elected official, you can't do that. In our democracy, you have to have the voters decide at election time at the ballot box whether to keep that JP or replace that person with someone else. And that's the American way. So magistrates in Maverick County, who's going to pay them? County of Maverick. If we have a tight budget, how are we going to afford it? We can't even fund the DA's office adequately now. And that's not to criticize anybody. I'm just bringing out the facts, the truth, and not being respectful to everybody because everybody deserves to be respected. How are we going to do it? What are you going to do with JPs and magistrates? How are we going to afford them all? We can't. unless you zero out the salaries for the JPs, the elected voice of the people. That's un-American, in my opinion. But then again, everybody has a right to bill. And it's up to the House and it's up to the Senate to decide whether to make that bill into law. So he had every right to file it. I respect that. It didn't pass. Not once, but twice. It didn't even get out of committee.
We reached out to the JP separately as well, and none of them, I mean, they were surprised. They found out because the bill was filed, but they were never, and that's why I brought it up. It relates a lot to the situation that you had to go through, I remember, is that they were never contacted, no input was given by them, or they weren't allowed a chance to speak on it. So that's just kind of shady on my end. That's what it looks like.
I'm not going to judge anybody, and I'm not going to say he had bad intentions, or I'm not going to say he acted in bad faith. I'm not going to do that. I would like to know why he filed it, but he doesn't have to answer to me if he doesn't want to. And I'm not asking him to. And like I said, I have every respect for him. I don't have any problem with him. He's the one that the people elected, and he's the one that's going to serve until he doesn't get reelected again. If he gets reelected again, he'll serve again. But not to tell the JPs that there might be measures coming in. I disagree with that. I think that as a professional courtesy, you should tell a JP, hey, you're going to be replaced by a magistrate, or you're going to have your duties cut because there's going to be an unelected employee of Maverick County called the magistrate that's going to take over your position. I disagree with that. But then again, it's a free country. It's not illegal, but I just don't agree with it.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to this budget thing. Now that we kind of ran down that avenue, my thing is that you're able to have. You ask for amount of money. Now you're coming back. You're asking for a little bit more because you're having a difficulty, of course, with prosecution in the 3 counties and everything. And pretty much, I think what sums up from what came from the meeting was that, kind of be happy with what you have, right? And because I mean, did they approve anything, or they just read it into the public hearing?
Well, it was a budget workshop. I mean, it was not, the budget can still change. I was there to give information, so we can't really know what they're going to do until they actually vote on the budget. And then once the budget is made public, it's a public record. You can ask for the Maverick County budget, and it has to be given to you. You have a right to see that budget. It's a public budget. It belongs to the people, not to the county. It belongs to the people of Maverick County. So everybody can ask for a copy of that budget. Once it's passed, I think you need to see where the money went, where it was spent, and make a decision for yourself. I'm not going to try to change your mind on that, whether the money was spent well or not. But if now that we have an opportunity for dialogue, and that's why I went there in good faith, to show them that out of these millions of dollars that we have in Maverick County, that some of it should be used to protect our children, our schools, our communities, that we don't want to be overwhelmed by violent criminals. We don't want that to
happen. Because we saw, I mean, there's specifically, there was 2 items that we saw whenever they were renewing contracts. And we knew we went into the year after COVID, and yeah, it was going to be difficult, which is why I think I have a lot of strong feelings about, let's say, at the lake, the things that the construction going on at the lake, the $3 million construction, and there was a lot of things like that during the pandemic, and we're barely kind of reaching out again, getting out of it, but then kind of being pulled back towards a pandemic type of way of life again. So you're talking about me. We went a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month, to talk about some renewal of contracts. One had to do with media, and the other one contract had to do with the lobbying firm, Shepherd Government Affairs, that do cost the citizens $8,000 a month. Now,
$8,000 a month?
$8,000 a month.
And
now,
what do they do?
Well, I mean, they're supposed to be, as per the agenda item, it was special services. I believe they were called special services.
And what are those special services? What are
And,
they?
and that's the thing that we were there to ask. We were given our 3 minutes before Commissioner's Court. We brought up the concern of both those companies just getting renewals. We thought that maybe citizens didn't see the full, tangible results that these companies that are getting paid, I mean, good money, they're getting paid well, and haven't seen those intangible results.
What are they doing? What are they doing for Maverick County to get paid? What's their?
I believe that they both of the partners there have lobbying, are lobbyists. They're registered lobbyists.
Lobby who?
Lobbyists. Let me see.
What are they going to lobby?
Well, see, that's what brings a whole different perspective on everything. Is that we have a state rep that is from Maverick County. And should be the main lobbyer for Maverick County. I mean, the way I would think about it.
I can't speak about that because I don't know what they do. But to lobby our own state representative from Eagle Pass, we all know him. Just pick up the phone and call him.
Yeah, and that's what kind of makes it funny is that their location, Shepherd Government Affairs, is from the Valley. I believe both gentlemen are from there. I'm not sure where they are now, but that's the way that was set up. They get paid at $8,000 a year. We expressed our concern about their results, just basically, because I understand if you're going to bring a company such as that, you would be able to see improvement, all around the community in several areas. But $8,000 a month, would that be able to help, let's say, your district attorney's office to?
Well, we're asking for if you cut it into 3 parts, we're asking for 44,000. We're asking for half of that amount. But if you times 3, it comes out to 130. But that's over a 3-year period. The 2 years that were not funded in this coming year. Now, I'm not going to speak badly about this Shepherd group because I don't know what they do. So I'm position to comment. I don't know if it's justifiable or not. I don't know what they do. I've never seen them do anything for the county that I know of. I mean, maybe they have. I'd like to see it, but I haven't seen it. So I'm not going to judge them. But what do they do? I'm curious. But anyway, but I think that the citizens of Maverick County want to have straight talk. They want to have safe streets. If given a choice between a road with 1 or 2 potholes, but then being safe, or having a perfect road, brand new road, where their children being raped or murdered or assaulted, I think they would rather choose that road with a pothole or 2 and make sure that their children are safe. When your children go out to play outside, you don't want to have to worry about them being assaulted or kidnapped or something vicious happen. And that's why I support the Men in Blue, because they're the ones that the first responders, God bless their souls, because they're the ones that keep us safe. I sit in a desk. I sit in an office. I work very hard, but I'm reading their work. I'm reading their reports. I'm answering their phone calls. I'm their attorney. For example, if you're going through a divorce and you have a legal question about your divorce, you're not going to call the DA's office. You're going to call your divorce lawyer. When law enforcement, peace officers, when they have a legal question, they're going to call their lawyers. Who are their lawyers? The prosecutors, the district attorney, the assistant district attorneys, the county attorney, the city attorney. We're their lawyers. We're the ones that give them legal advice as to what is or is not happening, or what needs to be done or not be done in their case, because we are their legal advisors in terms of what is needed for them to be able to bring us a case that we can prosecute. So we have to work together with law enforcement. I support law enforcement 100%. If they can get more funding, I congratulate the people that give them more funding because they deserve it, they earn it, because that money is being spent to protect us, protect you. I'm sure you have children. I know you have children. To protect your children, you want them safe, don't you?
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
You that's not free. That's not free. We're not a socialist country, and I don't believe in socialism. I am not a Bernie Sanders fan. I'm a Democrat, and I've never voted Republican in my life, and I never will. But that's me. But this is not about being a Republican or being a Democrat, because when it comes to public safety, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you want your children safe. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I'm saying that we want security. And if you don't fund the law enforcement process from police officers to prosecutors, then unknowingly you're defunding the police. You're defunding law enforcement without even knowing it, without even intending to do that. If you go that route, are you defunding the police? Yes, you are. Are you defunding law enforcement? Yes, you are. Intentionally? No. But that's the effect. That's what happens. That's the bottom line. Again, and I'm not here to criticize anybody. It was a budget workshop. There's still a chance to add on to our budget, and that's why we went there. Not to attack anybody. I'm not that type of person. I don't want to be that type of person. I'm glad I'm not that type of person. I'm not there to pick a fight or to criticize. It's real easy now on Facebook when you're having a conversation, because it's happened to me. I have an interview, and you always have somebody making a negative comment. They don't even know me. They haven't even spoken to me. They haven't even called me. Or they know me and they attack me thinking that I don't know who they are or thinking that I'm not going to read their comments. Is that right? No. If you have something to say to me, don't say it in the comment on Facebook. Come to my office. Talk to me. I'll give you my cell phone, 830-968-5856. Call me. I'll talk to you because I represent you. You might not agree with that, but I do represent you. And I'll be happy to talk to you about any issue that you have. But going back to your show, this is your show. I apologize if I'm speaking too much, but let's move along. And if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them. I was just wanting to let people know that it's okay to criticize your public officials. It's okay to criticize your district attorney. It's okay to criticize your county attorney. It's okay to criticize our offices. But if you really want to have dialogue, if you really want to have conversation, call me. Make an appointment. Come to my office, and I'll be happy to talk to you.
Now, there's another thing that we kind of wanted to question was the fact that there's been several reports about a lot of people getting, with the influx of immigrants that we have right now, the unprecedented scene that we have right now on our border, not just us, of course, Valverde County, Webb County, and all the surrounding border region, is we're dealing with a lot of human smugglers and a lot of illegal crossers that we have. Now, they're getting arrested, correct, or detained. But what's the process from there? I'm getting a lot of input that jails are full, that they're not even detaining these people in the Maverick County Jail as a normal process should go or has gone. Can you comment anything on that? Why are the jails full, or what's going on with that?
That I think is an appropriate question for the sheriff to answer. I understand that the jails are full. I don't know if we're releasing bed space to the federal government anymore. I think we are. If you have extra cells, by all means. But if you have county jails were made to make sure that people in your county that needed to be in jail were in jail. They were never meant to make a profit. They were never meant to be let out to the federal government to house federal prisoners. That was never the intent of a county jail. The county jail is to protect the citizens of Maverick County, and I think that's something that I don't want to judge anybody. I think that if you want to get an answer to that question, I think the appropriate person to ask would be the sheriff.
But there is a lot of people that are being sent, that are not going to the county jail, right? They're being, I guess, PR bond or bond let go, and they're rejoining our community after doing some of these illegal activities.
Well, unfortunately, that is happening in this area. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. Now today, September 1st, there were some changes in law. Now, human smuggling, you do not have to prove that a person was doing it for money, and it's now a felony. And you do not have to prove that. Before Texas law, you had to prove that the human smuggler was getting paid or was doing it for pecuniary gain. And that was a big problem because a lot of people were not admitting to it. And Border Patrol was coming in. They're still coming in. They come in, they get the material witnesses, the people that are not here legally in the country, and they take them somewhere else. And so our witnesses are gone. And the defendant has a right to remain silent. So if he did not confess that he was getting paid, you couldn't charge him. You couldn't charge him because state law required that you had to prove that they were getting paid money to transport these undocumented foreigners. Now, today, the new law came into effect today, which says that you no longer have to prove that they were getting paid or that they're receiving money or getting a pecuniary gain. You don't have to prove that anymore. So now you're going to have more people arrested for human smuggling felonies that are going to be prosecuted because you no longer have to prove that they were getting paid. You no longer need a confession. So that's the only way that you could do it. Now the witnesses from Honduras or Guatemala, they were being sent somewhere else. You can't find them. You don't know where they're at. They're sent all over the country, or some are deported. That's true. Some are deported. I've seen people being passed through the bridge back in May. I've seen that. So I know they're not all staying here, but I know a lot of them are, and they're seeking asylum. And I know for a fact that they're being released in our big cities, or a relative is claiming them. And I know one recently that was just flown to, I think, Orlando, Florida, by the family. The family paid for it. Let's have the facts clear. The family paid for it, but that person is now in Florida seeking asylum. Now, is he going to get asylum or not? We don't know. Maybe the judge is going to rule on that. But the thing is, we lost a witness.
Yeah.
The state has to bring a witness. It's going to cost thousands of dollars. Who's going to pay thousands of dollars to bring one witness in one case when you have hundreds? You have to be a very, very wealthy county, and we're not. And we simply cannot afford that. We don't have that kind of money. I don't think anybody does. I think that's one of the main reasons why those cases are not being prosecuted. What you do to prosecute them for is evading arrest or detention. It's also a third-degree felony, but you don't have to prove the human smuggling. You don't need the material witnesses. You just have to prove that they were in a vehicle, and that when a law enforcement officer or Border Patrol tried to stop them, they didn't stop. That's evading arrest and detention. It's the same level of offense. It's a third-degree felony. They're still subject to 2 to 10 years in state penitentiary. So they're being charged with evading arrest and detention. But now that the law's changed, you can also charge them more for human smuggling as well. Now, something also that happened today is that the House and the Senate approved a bill for $2 billion that's being sent to Governor Abbott's desk to be signed into law for border security. What does that mean? That means that there's going to be more law enforcement in the area. When you have more enforcement in the area, you're going to have more arrests, you can have more cases. Mm-hmm. So the caseload for the district attorney's office and the county attorney's office is going to dramatically increase. But that bill is being sent to the governor, has been sent to the governor. It's going to be signed, it's going to become law. They're going to add $2 billion for border for security. As a matter of fact, there's going to be a wall built here in Eagle Pass. I don't know how that's going to work, but there's also a bill, there was an amendment to the bill by Tracy King that said that you cannot use eminent domain to take private property away from ranchers along the border to build a border wall if they don't want to give it up. You cannot use eminent domain. That was an amendment to the bill that was added by Tracy King to protect private property owners. But you have $2 billion more coming in. $54 million is being given to to DPS for more operations here in the border area, mainly targeting Maverick, Webb, Verde, and the Valley. You have more resources coming in, and when you have more resources coming in, like I said, you're gonna have more cases. And if you don't have an adequately funded district attorney's office, and you know what the problem is, and you don't act on it, then you are defunding the police. You are defunding law enforcement. And I'm saying that it's just a fact. It's the truth. I highly respect our county commissioners. I highly respect our judge. I highly respect our state rep. They're elected officials. Now, whether you voted for them or not, that shouldn't matter. The election's over. They are your public officials. They represent you, whether you like it or not. They're the ones that can make the decisions. And I went there in good faith to try to reason with them. And they're reasonable people. I think that hopefully they'll listen to reason, because that's where budget workshops are held, so we can have an exchange of ideas and try to reach a consensus as to what's in the best interest of how to spend taxpayers' money, because it's your money, not mine, not the commissioner's court. It's your money. If you pay taxes, that's your money we're spending.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to thank you again for joining us. We already hit around 8 o'clock, so we have another special guest coming up, also Maverick County Attorney Jaime Iracheta. And we want to thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you shining, that little extra light so we can understand what the situation was this past Maverick County's meeting. Do you have anything else to say?
All I ask is that if you care about your community, if you care about your children, if you care about your neighborhoods, your churches, your schools, please give the county commissioners a call. Tell them that you support law enforcement, that you support the safety of your children, that you want to have a secure community, that you want to have security and protection in your home, that you don't want anybody breaking into your house, that you don't want anybody breaking into your neighbor's house, that you don't want anybody to be assaulted, and that you support law enforcement, and for them to please consider property funding, not only the Maverick County Sheriff's Office, which is good, I support that 100%, but also the prosecutors, because doing half the job doesn't get the job done. The other 50% is left out there hanging. So you have a chance and have an opportunity to take some time. Do it for your children. Do it for your loved ones. Give them a call. Tell them, please take into consideration. We know it's your ultimate decision, but please make the right call and fund what needs to be funded for us, the citizens of Maverick County. And I thank you very much for giving me the time to say everything that I've said. I appreciate it.
No, thank you very much for joining us. Again, we look forward. You've always been a supporter of coming out and being available for interviews for the Rising Texan podcast. So we really appreciate that. And thank you very much. And we hope to look and hear from you, later on down the road.
And again, if I offended anybody, I apologize in advance. I am not here to offend anybody. And if I offended somebody, I sincerely apologize. That was not my intent. That is not my intent. And my apology is to you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. All right, guys. We just finished with 293rd District Attorney Roberto Serna. And we will be bringing on the County Attorney, Jaime Iracheta. Let's welcome him on.
What's going on, Isaac?
How's it going, man? How you doing?
I'm finally on, man. Let's do this.
Yeah, AJ, you've been one of our highly sought after interviewee for quite some time, and we're happy that you decided to take on this interview. And we saw the video on Monday, a couple of days ago. So
what video?
Huh?
What video?
The Maverick County's Commissioner's Court, or the public hearing you had. There was a little bit of an interaction, let's say that way. So that's why we reached out to you, and of course the district attorney as well. We're interested in what's your perspective, what happened, what's going on, Or let's start from the beginning. What was the intention of you going to Commissioner's Court, this public hearing, which was for the budget? What were your intentions? What were your goals? And how did you take feedback from Commissioner's Court?
Okay, so right off the bat, Isaac, one, I came into office in 2021. As some of you know, the budget for my office was cut during the last fiscal budget, so I was not in office yet. My predecessor was in office, so my office budget was cut by $91,000 plus. So with that in mind, I made it a point that I was not going to miss a single budget hearing, a single opportunity to request to fund my office properly, make sure that I have everything available for my office so that we can do the best job that we can for the citizens that voted for me, the citizens that want to make sure that law enforcement is done right, is done correctly in their community. So not too long ago, I sent a request to our local county judge indicating that, hey, I heard that in order to discuss anything regarding budgets, you're the guy to talk to. Send me back some dates so that we can get together and meet. Didn't hear anything. Okay, so then I was told, all elected officials, you need to submit your budget requests, line item by line item. That's a requirement of every department in the county, myself included. Say, hey, what do you want? Currently you get, for example, $500 for postage. Do you still want 500? Do you want more? Do you want less? Are you good at the same? Submit your request. I did that as well, right? Well, recently we heard that there was going to be a budget hearing. That was the first one, a budget workshop, how they call it. I created some charts. I put them on my Maverick County attorney's page. I'm not sure if you saw them or not. Anybody watching, I asked, make sure you go and like the Maverick County attorney's page. It's a Jaime Iracheta. You hit the like button. You can keep up to track with what we're doing there. We're trying to update it as much as possible. We don't have our own IT group, so we do it ourselves to the best of our ability. But again, we posted that information. I sent it to every single commissioner. I emailed every single commissioner with charts showing where we stand in all of Southwest Texas, and saying we need some help. I went to that budget hearing. I gave everybody an extra paper copy there at that hearing. It was not raised for whatever reason. They did not bring it up. So we waited again. We were told this past Friday, there was a posting sent out at 5:05, I believe. Friday at 5:05, an email sent to everybody. Typically the county offices are closed at 5, but this notice was sent at 5:05 or 5:10, something around there. And that says on Monday, we're going to have another budget hearing, which is required by law. So again, I made sure come Monday morning, I sent some updated information to all the commissioners, to the county judge, and I was going to show up to the meeting. Most of us, a lot of people are 8 to 5. So some people don't get out of work till 8 to 5. I, as the county attorney, obviously am 24/7. But once I left the other office that I was at 5 o'clock, I get over to the commissioner's court, and I think it was about 5:05, 5:08, and they had already started. So we get there, and Mr. Serna is speaking already. I got some notification that apparently some comments were already made about myself before I got there. So when Mr. Serna finished speaking, I decided to stand up there and go and state my case. And the long and short of it is, I'm going to continue to fight for my office because that's what the people elected me to do. I'm here to fight for my community. Whether you agree with it or not, I'm going to continue to try to do the best for my office and my community as much as possible. I'm not ignorant to the fact of what's in front of me and the hurdles that are placed in front of me. But again, I guarantee you lose if you don't ask, if you don't try. That's a guaranteed loss. So I might as well try and continue to fight no matter what the obstacles or hurdles are in front of me. And I'm going to continue to do that as long as the people have me there to do it.
Now, one of the biggest things that I saw that like you were saying, that they were already talking about you in this email that came out through some of the commissioners. They were talking about the salary, that there was a big increase in the salary. And I mean, I think you were even getting to a point, kind of criticized about why, such a jump in the salary. I think that's what one of the words of one of the commissioners was. And you know how the typical meeting goes. So yeah, that was said before you had gotten there, but I believe you had a justification for that, didn't you?
That's right. Yeah. So, again, I do wish that whenever any comments are made in commissioner's court, they're made when I'm there to defend myself, not when I'm not there, but, because I didn't hear very many comments when I was there, but ultimately, the reason I brought up the salary was because I was able to go back into the records of Maverick County, and I wanted to know when was the last time that a Maverick County attorney was getting paid the current salary that is allocated currently for the Maverick County attorney. I was able to find it. It was the salary that was being paid to Mr. Ernest Mireles back in 1992, over 28 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So to say that again, I am currently being paid the salary from 1992, and so the commissioner's court, some of the commissioner's court wanted to make it seem that that's all I cared about, and obviously they failed to mention a lot of the emails that I sent regarding my budget, the staff increases, the software that I need for my office, a vehicle that's from this century, stuff like that, but of course they want to make it seem like somehow it's only about the salary. Well, like I said earlier, when I came into office, the county attorney's salary was cut, I believe somewhere around the lines of $12,000, bringing it back to the salary from 1992. And I actually found out why. So there's a statute out there, Isaac, that says by law, you cannot lower a elected official salary lower than the salary from 1971. Okay.
Really?
That's a law. That's a law that's out there. Now, apparently, the reason they lowered my salary to the salary from 1992 was because that was the farthest back that the records that Maverick County has. So they couldn't justify it anymore. That's the last record that they found. So that's why they did it to 1972.
So they put the lowest salary.
1992. Excuse me.
Right? Am I getting that correctly? They put you back to the lowest salary they could find legally.
Exactly. So again, my argument is not so much about me. I'm gonna work and wherever I can work and whatever I can do to support my family. I'll go dig ditches. I'll go clean floors. I'll do whatever I got to do to support my wife and my kids and do what I got to do. But at the end of the day, it's what are we telling our community? What are we telling the kids in our community that can come from Eagle Pass, Maverick County, go out and get their education? How are we going to bring them back home and say, hey, go get your education. You know what? Go get a law degree. Go get a law degree and come back and we'll pay you the salary from 1992. How are we going to be competitive? How's that even a thing? We set the salary back 28 years. 28 years. So again, some might want to spin it that, it's because I'm complaining about salary because of me. No, it's not about me. It's about the position, man. It's about being competitive and being competitive with our surrounding counties. I mean, I think I showed in one of my charts that, I think I currently only beat one county attorney in the surrounding counties. I beat him by a little bit salary wise, and he has a population of 1,900.
Wow.
Other than that, I'm probably one of the lowest paid county attorneys. But,
yeah, I think
but again, that's the thing is let's just do what's right. Let's we're not even at where my predecessor was, which was just a year ago, and nothing's happened since then other than the fact that I won an election.
Yeah, I'm trying to show the actual document of what you were talking about. That way we can give a visualization to
the 1992 or that one. Yeah.
That would be the current budget.
Yeah. So
I mean, you want to explain that one? Like, so you're getting a little bit more workload than usual, right? That's what.
Well, it's not necessarily more than usual. It is. That's exactly how it is. Maverick County right now is the county with the most cases in all of the surrounding region. So even just going to all the counties in Southwest Texas, we get the most cases out of everybody. Yet we're one of the most underfunded, understaffed, undersupported offices there is. But again, I'm still very proud of the work that my staff does with every hurdle that's been placed in front of us. I got to say that I'm so proud of the county attorney staff right now, that everybody in that office wears so many hats. I mean, we go from dealing with defendants, dealing with attorneys, dealing with the court staff, dealing with law enforcement. And I mean, we throw out the trash and sweep the floor sometimes. I mean, so we do it all. But again,
what I'm seeing here, AJ, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No.
You have 5 employees, and Valverde has 6, and they're a lot less. I mean, almost half.
Yeah. So that's a perfect example, Isaac. So if we're looking at Valverde, so for those of you who don't know, that's the county that our sister city Del Rio lies in. On average, we both have the same office. Okay, we both have the same office. Yet in Maverick County, we on average get easily over 1,000 cases in our office every year. And in this office, I'm the only attorney. I am the only prosecutor. I have a staff of 4. Currently in Valverde and Del Rio, we spoke with them. They get on average between 600, 700, 800 cases a year. It varies back and forth. They have about, last I checked, 4 lawyers working in their office.
Wow.
Yeah, they have about 4 lawyers. And see, that number 6, that's actually, I believe that's just their support staff. That's not counting the lawyers.
Oh,
my 5 counts me in it.
Oh, yeah, that makes a big difference. I mean, as to what the different levels of knowledge it's needed to, do the positions and to get stuff done. I mean, I'm assuming in a legal process, an attorney can get you a lot quicker than an individual or a support staff. So,
for sure. I mean, as some of the people might know, back in 2018, I was appointed the Maverick County attorney, and for the first time ever, I was able to get an assistant county attorney ever in Maverick County. I was able to bring one in. Now, unfortunately, after I was gone, that position was removed. And so I would love to try to bring that back, and build this office and get it to where it needs to be. But I have no problems doing baby steps, but as long as we're moving in the right direction.
No, and we'll come back to the removal of those the budget cut back then. But I did want to go through to see the rest of these things that we have here for the county attorney.
Yeah.
This is the actual salary. So, wow. I mean, that just speaks for itself, in my opinion. You're seeing the population versus the salary that some of these county attorneys get, and you did mention you beat out one of them, but the population is just ridiculous.
That's right there, Edwards County. Edwards County, I beat that guy, so I beat one.
They have just under 2,000 in population, and we have close to 60,000. Wow. I mean, yeah, that graph alone says a lot. I don't know what it says a lot of, but it does say a lot.
I'll bring you attention, Isaac, to Valverde, to Del Rio. That's our next door neighbor. They're able to pay their county attorney $109. And I understand some in the commissioner's court indicate, well, we're going through tough times, and I agree. I mean, we're definitely going through unprecedented waters where, this pandemic and everything that's happened is thrown everything for a loop. But everybody around us seems to be doing just fine, or at least to what they used to. But we somehow have an issue, So all I'm saying is I want to get with the times. It's 2021. We shouldn't be in 1992. I got staff that was born that year, so.
let me see. We got. I think there was one more chart up here, or maybe that's already the budget. Well, I mean, as I scroll through the budget, right? I mean, so you did actually contact them and you notified that there's the letter right there. Oh, this is actually from Salcedo. So this was a response you received from David Salcedo after
after that meeting. Yeah.
Okay.
So to be clear, Isaac, right now the budget technically is still fluid. You know, everything can still change till the very end. So if you go to the Maverick County website, you should have access to a proposed budget, which means you're going to be able to see what all the departments are making, what everybody requested, and what is currently proposed. Now, let me remind you, who is the person that proposes it? One person, the county judge. Every elected official gets to request what they want, but one person gets to propose what they want, and that's the county judge. So the county judge is the one who proposes it, and then that is sent to the commissioner's court to get voted on and say, hey, this is what we're going to say is going to be a thing. Every single commissioner has the right to say, you know what, Judge, I don't think that's right. I think it should be more. I think it should be less, whatever the decision may be, but they can vote on it. Okay. So not just one person gets to control this. They get to offer it, but they all get to vote on it. And because you get to vote on it, that means you can vote positive or negative. It doesn't matter if one person agrees or not. But by law, because I'm an elected official, the county judge, if he's going to change my salary up, down, left, or right, has to provide notice. Okay. So that is the official notice that I received regarding my salary. The county judge has decided that he is proposing to increase my salary from what is currently now $35,000 to a salary of $36,667. That is what is being proposed. That does not mean it is set in stone. It only becomes set in stone once it is voted in officially by the commissioner's court.
Okay. So not necessarily keeping up with the times on that one though, huh?
No, because I mean, again, Isaac, like I said, before I came into office, we started negative 12,000 in that position. So I'm not even at where my predecessor was last year. And again, I think it's time that there should be no reason why we're not at a minimum where the person before me was. You know, there's no justification. The only thing that's different that happened from then to now is that I won the election and I'm coming in.
And I see this several of these emails. So you have been in communication with them. You have to get everything that's needed for your department, right? So
that's right.
Now we're gonna go into another document here. I believe this was after you won an election.
That's right.
We're talking about right now, and I just want to bring it on the screen so people can see. We are referencing documents that actually exist, and everything was done the way I guess the book prescribes it, if you want to call it that way.
Well, I mean, and I'll tell you this, that back in 2020, I won an election and I was the Democratic nominee. So I was going unopposed in the November election. So therefore, I had technically already won. Just I had to wait to be sworn in January 1st, 2021. So I had no right to the office yet. I could not assume any role in the office, but I was already preparing myself to make sure that we could do the best that we can do as soon as I come in and hit the ground running. So back in 2020, July of 2020, I sent an email, or I sent a letter. You could see here, I sent it to the county judge. I sent it to every single commissioner that was sitting on the commissioner's court at that time. And I told them, I said, hey, want to let you know that it's very important to fund the county attorney's office. All I am asking is to keep it exactly the same. That's all I said. I didn't say increase it. I didn't say I deserve more. I said keep it exactly the same that the current person has right now that's on her way out. That's all I said. So there's my proof. I sent it back then. You could scroll down a little bit more and you could see that, I sent it to a lot of different people there.
Yeah. Scroll a little too much. Listed is all the commissioners, county attorney. Let's see. Zoom in a little bit more on this. Yeah, of course, the main copy went to the Judge Salcedo. It was sent out to Jerry Morales, Commissioner Precinct 1, Rosy Cantu, Commissioner Precinct 2, Commissioner Precinct 3, P. Venegas, Commissioner Precinct 4, Roberto Ruiz. County Attorney at the time was Gloria Hernandez.
Correct.
To the County Treasurer, Rito Valdez, and the County Auditor, Carla Mazuca.
That's right.
So you try to reach to everybody that needed to know what was happening with this, right?
Yeah,
so,
I mean, and again, that was for the budget from last year, right? So that budget goes into effect. If you want to scroll up a little bit, that document right there. So this budget was going to affect my predecessor for 3 months, okay? Because the budget goes into effect every fiscal year in October of every year. So she was technically still in office. I'm still not in office yet, but she is the one who has the right to say, hey, I want more for the staff. We need computers. We need this, we need that, whatever. So she's the one who had the authority at that time to do that. But again, me as a person that was going to come in later, I said, hey guys, please leave it the same. That's all I'm asking. So that document you're seeing right there, that's a document that shows you during the 2021 fiscal year, which elected officials were earmarked to get salary increases. If you notice, every single elected official was getting a raise, except one.
Let me guess. Is the?
I'll give you one guess, Isaac.
Oh wow! Right there.
Yeah.
County Attorney.
Yeah. So this document is what's published by the county judge and the commissioner's court at the time, and they got to give notice to the community and say, hey, this is what we're proposing to give raises to elected officials. And again, I think a lot of these elected officials deserve raises. I think a lot of things need to get with the times. A lot of these positions haven't moved in years. And I think just how Mr. Serna was indicating earlier, a gallon of gas from last year is not the same cost as a gallon of gas now. So little by little, there should be some movement. But again, at that time, the county attorney's salary was $46,667. And you see the blank there right next to you. It was not proposed for an increase.
Any raise or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just stayed flat. You see, and this was the salary that was getting paid, not to you yet, but incoming. It was to the current county attorney at the time, which was Gloria Hernandez, as we saw in those documents.
Exactly.
Now, if we scroll down a little bit more.
So that right there, Isaac, I still not in office yet. I kind of noticed that something was going on a little squirrely with potentially the office that I was about to start in. And I sent a Public Information Act request to the county attorney at the time, Gloria Hernandez. I asked her, I said, Ms. Hernandez, I am sending you a Public Information Act request. I want to know, one, did you ask for anything regarding your budget? Did you ask for an increase? Did you ask for salary increases for computers, something? And two, did you receive anything from the county judge saying, hey, you're going to get decreased or anything's going to go on? So if you go down a little bit where it says response, she said none.
And this letter, again, I'm sorry, went straight directly to then the current county attorney, Gloria Hernandez, from the incoming county attorney, which is now the current one, AJ Iracheta. Okay, just wanted to. Yeah.
So pretty much I asked her, Ms. Hernandez, did you ask for an increase, a decrease to the budget? Did you do anything? Is there any documents that show you requested something in writing that, hey, give my staff something more, something? And if you scroll down a little bit, her response was none. So she didn't ask for anything, didn't say anything. If you go to that second part, I asked, okay, I want to know, what did the county judge send you or any member of the commissioner's court? Did they tell you that they're going to pay you more? They're going to pay you less? Anything to that effect? Her response right there was.
The response again.
See attached letter. So remember how I just got a letter from the county judge telling me what I'm proposed to get? Well, Ms. Hernandez got one back then as well. And if you see there, the county judge at the time says, Ms. Hernandez, thank you for everything you've been doing. It looks like a boilerplate letter, but pretty much your salary is $46,667, and we're proposing $26,667. Again, that's a $20,000 cut that he was trying to propose at the time. Now, did I get cut $20,000? I did not, because remember what I told you earlier, the only document they could find was the one from 1992. And that one was about a $12,000 cut. So
they couldn't cut down all the way.
Yeah. So I show you all of this. I show you all of this because I've always believed that elected officials need to be upfront. Elected officials need to be transparent. There's nothing we should be hiding. There's no reasons why we need to be posting an agenda at Friday at 5:05, 5:10, making it hard for people to see, for something to be heard on Monday, with no notice right at 5. Why are we hiding? What are we hiding? Either you pay me $2, you pay me $20. It's all right there in black and white. This is not our money. This is a taxpayer money. We need to do the best that we can to serve the community, and that's what we're fighting for. That's what we're fighting for. So this is how we got here, Isaac. I just felt it was very important for people to see what really happened. This was before I came into office. Again, the only thing I had asked back at this time was, hey guys, I'm coming in later. Please leave it the way it is right now. And they tried cutting it 20,000, but ultimately could only cut it 12 because their records don't go that far back.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing here is that you sent that letter even before this sheet was even around. You
That's
sent
right.
it back, I think, at the end of July or something, or in August, and this one at a later date is coming in and cutting it. Now,
That's right. It was after the letter that I sent saying, hey, leave it alone. They're like, no, we're going to cut it 20,000.
now,
and that's only the salary. That's not even counting the budget. But
now to your knowledge, is there, let me go ahead and we already shared that. To your knowledge, was anybody else at that time, cut 20,000, 10,000 from their salary, any other elected official?
Nope, I was the only lucky one, Isaac.
Wow. Now, I really hate to say that there's a preference or preferential treatment, but I don't know how else to call what I'm seeing in my face. You know what I mean? A duck is a duck. If it quacks, if it, swims on water, if it has those little rubbery feet, it's a duck.
Right.
And there's nothing else you can call this other than preferential treatment to not necessarily the backwards of preferential treatment, I think. How do they like to call it? The redheaded stepchild, that's what it seems what you've become here in the county, besides your county attorney, man. And I don't mean that in any disrespect, right? But
I wear that with pride, man. I wear that with pride. I don't mind being the new guy on the block. I don't mind being the guy that calls people out on their, at the end of the day, the old school way of doing things is done, Isaac. It's done. I will say it to everybody that's watching right now. I will say it to everybody that's going to watch it later. It's done, guys. It's over. The way these guys used to run this stuff and the old compadrism stuff it's over. I'm not going anywhere. So again, I'm here to make sure that things are done right. I'm here to make sure that things change for once. So they can keep messing with me all they want. They can keep doing all that. That's fine. I'm still going to be here. I'm going to be here longer than they are. I guarantee you.
You say that with, of course, we see a lot of movement now with the county for, after their last elected bid, which is coming up, the county judge seat is coming up. And I know things are getting a little set around the community. Things are starting to spread. The heat is turning up, the way the song would say it, right? Because they know a big seat is coming up. And one of the things that, like I said, we have seen how you just mentioned about hiding things or not letting people see. Now, one of the things, and this is coming me as a citizen wanting to see, let's say, the agenda.
That's right.
There's a lot of people that have come to me and asked me, hey, they stopped posting the agendas, and I try to look in the normal spot where I was used to seeing it, and it's not there anymore. And then now you have to, none of this stuff gets announced, stuff gets moved around, And maybe it's not intentional, but I think working in government as you do, you always try to compensate for things looking or not passing, as a wise man said, the smell test, right?
Right.
And a lot of that stuff just stinks, AJ. It just stinks.
Look, Isaac, I first I want to commend you for being outspoken and asking questions that maybe rub some people the wrong way. And I want to thank you for doing that, because not very many of us were doing that. I felt alone there for a while. I'm not gonna lie, but I like the fact, question everything, question me, hold everybody accountable, including myself. I have no problem with that. I'm gonna make mistakes, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm perfect and gonna do everything correctly. No, I'm probably gonna screw up a time or two, because I'm human just like everybody else. But this idea that these elected officials and the way they do things is untouchable, and you can't criticize and you can't ask. No, sir. That's our money. That's taxpayer money. This stuff needs to be open. This stuff about, look, you brought up the agendas. I have been advocating for the fact that agendas need to be posted with attachments days in advance before the meeting. It is ridiculous, Isaac. It is ridiculous that we are having some of these commissioners have to vote on multi-$1,000 contracts of your taxpayer money that's going to pay for these things for a contract they received 30 minutes before the meeting. How are they supposed to be informed? How are they supposed to, properly rule on these things and say, wait a minute, we're going to spend what's going to amount to be hundreds of thousands of dollars on this contract, and who knows about it? Just the county judge and one other commissioner? How does that work? Yeah. Why can't you provide these things to the commissioners and to the public days in advance? Why do things need to be posted Friday at 5 when nobody's watching, and then to be acted on Monday before everybody gets there? What's the holdup?
You see, and it's not anything you're asking that's outrageous, because I share that sentiment. The city of Eagle Pass, whenever they do their agendas, it includes the attachments, contracts, as transparent as they can be from what I've seen. It includes all of that. Now, why can't the county do that? Is there anything?
There's absolutely no reason why they cannot do that. And don't ever let them tell you different. There's nothing other than a legal protection for something that's being still negotiated. There's no reason why they can't do that. They just want this. And that is not how it works. That's not how it works. We need to be better than that. Okay. You can you can watch all these meetings and you can see how only certain people answer, or certain people have a little pre-made sentence ready to go to make their little headline. And then, oh yes, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Yes. Oh, give me substance. Tell me what's going on. Why do we need this? Why is that person getting paid this? What qualifications does he have? Why can't we talk about this? And then anybody that criticizes, anybody that says something is looked down upon. That's exactly what Commissioners Court's for. It's meant for debate. It's meant for the people. So these old ways of doing things need to change, Isaac. And I'm telling you, things are changing. Things are changing. I guarantee you they're changing.
It sounds good. I mean, like I said, it was weird. One of the things that I want to point out from the meeting, the budget hearing, was that it was only you and District Attorney Serna present to say anything.
Yeah, and I think that's sad, because I'll be upfront with you. A lot of elected officials in other departments are very disheartened with how things run. They are. They feel that they're losing a battle, that they feel that they're wasting their time, because they know that they're going to get outvoted anyway by a certain few on the board, that no matter what they say, no matter what they do, they're going to vote it down anyway. So why try? Well, that also is a problem, because not trying, you're guaranteed to lose. All right. So I will keep trying every time that I can. I will, even if I know I'm going to lose, even though I know I'm going to be outvoted. So again, that's not the point. The point is to stop this, man. The point is to move forward, do what's right. I know when I made my budget request, I asked for the moon and the stars. I know I wasn't going to get it. I mean, but I'm going to ask. Hopefully I get some of it. But again, it looks like, certain things are going to happen. But, I don't know if anybody noticed this. If you go back and watch that meeting, the one that you were talking about earlier, they tried to shut it down in 2 minutes. This is a budget hearing. Even if none of us went to go talk, they can talk there publicly. They could talk about the emails I sent them. They could talk about all these different things. Why try to shut it down? After Mr. Serna finished talking, I was sitting there with a folder of papers in my hands, and they still tried to shut it down. I was like, wait a minute, I want to say something.
We noticed he kept on calling the time as quick as he could. And like I said, we noticed that y'all two were the only ones that actually, showed up, came in, and you're talking about a thing that there was some interaction between, Serna and him, or the court and you with a county judge, and there was a pretty, I would say, unprofessional statements made by some of the commissioners in questioning your salary, because it shouldn't be. I mean, a commissioner's court is not out there to be a news media or any type or try to influence anybody.
No.
Which is what I heard one of the commissioners, and I'll say it, Jerry Morales, Precinct 1, question your salary and kind of, make you be on the spot for what you were asking for.
Well, I mean, he did question it when I wasn't there, so. I personally like to be questioned when I'm there so I can defend myself. That's, I give that benefit to anybody that I like to question. So I'd expect the same respect back, but it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to say stuff when you're not there.
Absolutely. And that's what that's why we like this little platform that we've created, not for us, but for the people, so we can get, these people coming in and get commentary from the side unseen or regularly unheard, from what I like to call now is the silent majority, because I think we're in the majority, just that we're kept silent, as you kind of indicated there a little while ago.
Oh yeah, I mean, Isaac, you got to understand that there's more of us than there are of people that are trying to do the old way of doing things. Unfortunately, they just have the loudest microphone. That's it. They have the ability to call press conferences when they want to. So that doesn't mean everybody agrees with them. Okay, that just means that some of us are behind the scenes waiting for things to happen, and they're going to happen.
Oh man, that would be great, and not for any other personal reason, but to see our county grow, because we did, as per the census that just came out, we're at 6% growth. We're on the same kind of rate that Webb County is at, and that's, I would say, very impressive stat. And with that comes crime. With that comes prosecutions that county attorney and district attorney are going to have to handle in the near future, a year or two down the road. So, of course, you can't make the dramatic splash in salary as, going so high immediately, but hey, move it up this time, or this term, this year, this budget, next budget, another increment, but try to keep up with the times. As you showed with the chart, it was a terrible, like I said, ugly, redheaded stepchild, man. Yeah. It's embarrassing as a citizen to watch these types of things go on. And the thing is that I think there's so many people out there that not that they're not informed, but everything is kept at a hush hush.
That's right. And look, and I'm going to say this, Isaac, that a lot of this information is out there, folks. A lot of this information, you are allowed to do Public Information Act requests, okay? You're allowed to do that. They cannot question you. Nobody can. No elected official can question you why you're asking for it. You can ask whatever you want, okay? As long as within the law, we have it and we have the time to do it within the law and everything is met, you can get anything answered that you want within the Public Information Act guidelines, okay? All of this information is your information. This is not private. This is you, the public. This is for you, okay? Just because other people indicate that, be careful, you're going to piss this person off or so on. That's not how this works, okay? And look, unfortunately, it is frustrating to see that, there's monies being spent in this county for some questionable contracts, questionable jobs, and and certain people bumping up to certain positions with no experience, with no background, no degrees, no education, and it's interesting, to say the least. So I'd hope we eventually get to a point that we can start giving salaries and increases to individuals because of their years of service, their certification, their training, their job requirements, just as opposed to supporting one side or the other. Okay. And again,
now, in your opinion, that's what you feel is kind of going on right now in the county.
Well, I could say that it's not everywhere, but it's there. It's there. I mean, I'd ask anybody to go look through the Maverick County proposed budget right now and look at certain positions. Look at it. It's free. There tends to be people that hang in the same circles that tend to get plenty of money, and there's people that don't hang in a different circle, tend to get reductions or no increases whatsoever. You would think we'd start doing it the right way. So going to the overall budget, Isaac, Mr. Serna has a very, very solid point. Law enforcement is a prosecutor's office, okay? Mr. Serna is the chief prosecuting officer of the district. I, myself, am the chief prosecuting officer of Maverick County, okay? We work hand in hand with law enforcement. One does not work without the other. So if you're going to fund one and give raises to one and not to the other, what do you think is going to happen? I'll give you an example. In my office alone, we get over 1,000 cases a year, okay? And they go in front of this county judge's court. So you would think there'd be more of an emphasis of like, yes, let's do stuff, right? How are we going to increase more people at the sheriff, more people, at PD, more people DPS, more people everywhere, but keep our office exactly the same or even less in funds? How does that work?
Yeah.
That's simple math. So again, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. At the end of the day, I'm not saying let's do something crazy. I'm just saying let's keep up with each other. Let's fund this office because one does not work without the other. That's it. Let's get more staff. Let's give more jobs to the people of this community to come in here and work and make sure we can work on those DWIs. We can work on those thefts. We can work on those, family assault cases, those drug cases. I mean, I think these are pretty important things, right?
I mean, I feel that way. I feel that way because I have a family, which most of us here do. In Eagle Pass, we have children and everything, and not to discount ones that don't. But of course, we always want to leave a infrastructure for our children, a law enforcement infrastructure where you can say that we're a safe city. Because ultimately, nobody wants to live in an area where you have to watch your door 24/7, or you're not even feeling secure that your doors are locked, or that you have to worry about your vehicles or anything like that. But this is an issue that's coming up. I don't want to say it was brought by the pandemic. I know the increase of immigrants in our area doesn't make the numbers go down. But it's just putting more strain and a lot of more work, not just to the county attorney, but also the district attorney. And your offices are getting slammed with a bunch of work. You would think that, like a lobbying firm, and this is coming from me, government affairs, maybe, could take a pay cut or could renegotiate or go out for bids again, especially, with the media that they do have, that they pay the media company, Texas Media Link, maybe, hey, go out for bids again. Are we getting the best value for the tremendous amount of dollars that are being spent, that should be spent in our county offices and in our county employees, and try to get the best possible product? Everybody likes a safe city. I mean, I can't mention that enough. You want to go home, you want to be able to work safely, and you want to be able to sleep safely at night. And I think that, yes, you are right. Both sides, not just the boots on the ground, the sheriff's department, they also deserve as much of a raise, but also the prosecution side of it, because ultimately you are the guys that keep people from coming out over and over and over again to commit the same kind of crimes, because about 80 something percent, 70 something percent of the people that do commit crimes, they're right back out committing crimes again. I think statistically speaking.
Well, I'll say this, Isaac. I'm glad you touched on that undocumented immigrant situation, and I want to give notice to the public about what's going on with that and what to expect to happen in the near future. So I want everybody to know that I've been working very closely for the past, I would say, months now with DPS. I've been talking to the regional directors, the majors in the area. I've been talking to the county attorney from Valverde, which is the Del Rio, and because there's been a lot of change going on, everybody knows that there's, definitely a big influx of undocumented immigrants that have been coming through our county and through our community, and everybody's been asking what's going to happen. Is the federal government stepping in or not? So I just want everybody to know that at least this is what I know so far. Nothing is set in stone. Again, all of this is done brand new for the first time. So what we are expecting to happen is there's going to be an uptick in cases by DPS in our community, in Maverick County specifically, and that's going to be happening within the next couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. There's going to be a significant amount of arrests, misdemeanor arrests primarily, which I, as the county attorney, handle the misdemeanor arrests. So I will be, in my office alone, we will be getting hundreds of new cases. So again, even if it's just one case a day, that's 365 new cases a year, which is significant enough for an office of my size, but it's going to be more than that. I want everybody to know that I have been working hard with DPS and saying, how can we do this so that it has the least impact on our citizens here in Maverick County, how it has the least impact in our tax dollars here in Maverick County, because this court system and everything that happens here, it costs money. It costs money to fund this. So I wanted to make sure that I could still do my job to the best of my ability, not affect the cases that I already have and have to work on, but now accept these new cases that are coming in and still survive, right? So I've been working with these gentlemen, and as of right now, once these arrests are made, these undocumented immigrants are going to be transported to a processing center in Valverde. They will then be held in a facility in Dilley, Texas. And instead of bringing them back to Maverick County for court proceedings, I have been advocating for having technology implemented at not only my office, but in the county court's office. I'm asking for monitors, computers, cameras, and that way we don't have to bring these people. Once they are picked up, they no longer have to come back to Maverick County and clog our jail system or clog our streets or anything to that effect. And again, these are just the people that are committing crimes. I'm not talking about everybody. These are the ones that are committing crimes that are in our books in Texas. And so once we can remove the people committing crimes from our community, hopefully eventually will become a deterrent and help with this process. And I will say, Isaac, that I do believe also that this is a humanitarian issue that's going on as well. But included the humanitarian issue, there always unfortunately is a criminal aspect that either a small percentage of it, that can affect the whole bunch. And so as a prosecutor, I have to be conscious about that and make sure I do my job to the best of my ability and make sure that it doesn't affect the citizens of this community and has the smallest impact possible. I advise my staff that we're, with already all the work we're doing, get ready because we're about to double or triple it. So again, with more reason to ask for this commissioner's court to come and help us do our job, help us protect the community, help us do something that isn't in 1992. Help us get to the modern age. That's what I'm asking for, and I don't think that's unreasonable. And so that's why I have no problem speaking out. I have no problem speaking on behalf of my staff, who deserves way more credit for what they do and helps me in that office do the best that we can. And that's what we're going to continue to do every single day.
No, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you're going to be having your hands full shortly, if you haven't already, with everything that was, going on. And it just seems reasonable to have you increase your offices, especially with the national policy going on with the undocumented individuals. It just seems common sense that, hey, they're going to have a lot more work with this situation. And if you cannot affect it nationwide, you have to accommodate the byproduct of it, right? Which is having all these individuals here. So, I mean, why not fund, why not assist the county attorney, the district attorney with funding? So it could be adequate, right? That's pretty much what you're saying. You're not going for, astronomical, but we're going adequacy here, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, Isaac. Before I came into office, there was 2 extra positions that my office had. They were removed. You think I couldn't use those 2 positions right now? What happened differently from the time that my predecessor was there to me coming in, other than the fact that it was me? So again, I could use those 2 positions. I could have those 2 extra, 4 extra hands to help in the office. I can maybe put that money together, get another investigator, get another assistant attorney again, the way I did it before.
I mean, it kind of sounds like, let's say they cut those 2 positions and maybe allocated some money. I don't know if this is directly, but they did hire around the same time a parks director that's making about $55,000. That was the brother of Mayor Cifuentes too. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm just throwing an example, and also these contracts with, special services is what they do. I don't know what the special is about. Whenever I win, I try to get some answers myself, and it's just sketchy to say the least. But
I mean, look, it is a commissioner's court job to award these contracts. It is their discretion to whether they award a good contract or a bad contract. All right, that's not my job as the county attorney. However, it does make you wonder. It makes you wonder that, why are we spending money over here when our house needs fixing, our foundation needs fixing? I can give you examples of, you can just go to our maintenance department, and our maintenance department has a roof falling in, simple stuff like that. My office had issues, still has issues, but again, simple things that we won't fix our home, but we're willing to do these other outside things. It doesn't make sense. And we need to get back. Everybody needs to come back to having common sense again. We need to invest in our home. We need to fix our home first, our foundation. Let's get the resources that we need, not just certain people in certain areas that happen to politically align with you by chance, that happen to have a paper that talks well of you, that happens to have, these other things align. Let's have some common sense again. Whether you love me or hate me, do the right thing. Just do the right thing. What's so wrong about that? What is so wrong about that?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And since you kind of threw out the little paper issue, we'll go ahead and repeat that. I mean, me as a news source, I had to have picked that up, and I'm not going to, name the publication out there. But our mayor, whenever he was running for his election, he showed the proof of what a publication out there does get paid. And for the people that I guess may not see it, they get very well, there's anything ever bad said about them. Let's put it that way. Questions are never asked, and I don't want to say that I do or I don't, but we can see something like that, and it's not a very high circulated newspaper either, and it's all of it is in Spanish, which I think that right now our frequent language spoken in Eagle Pass is starting to make a big change towards English with a lot of the youth coming up. And it just goes to wonder, why are they being paid so much again with these contracts, contractors doing special services. We have people that, not necessarily deserve the position or have the experience that one would like for that position, but they're getting moved around. And it's a lot of it has to do with you touched on it, so I will. A political alliance, a political fitting with a certain group or out of a certain group. And it's just it keeps our county and our community set back. It keeps us in a bubble. It keeps us.
Like, I think, Isaac, if I'm gonna do anything in my time in office is my goal is to leave it better than how I found it. All right. I wish I could change everything. I wish I could do everything myself. I can't. I need people like you. I need people that are watching. I need people that are watching this at a future date. You guys are the ones that are going to make the difference. You guys need to hold these people accountable, hold myself accountable. We're not untouchable. We're your neighbors. We just happen to win an election to get this position. You entrusted us to do this. So let's do it right. Let's get out of this hole. Look, I grew up here. I'm born and raised here. I hate it when people would talk negative about Eagle Pass or Maverick County. I always hated that. Why? Because I said, what are you doing to change it? Everybody can criticize. Okay, it's easy to be a keyboard warrior. Get out there, get in the trenches, come volunteer with me, please. I can use the help. Get out here. Anything you do, it can make a difference, right? Public service is amazing. It's amazing. You could see the difference that you make. And yes, you're gonna have some setbacks, and yes, you're gonna have some certain officials that are just gonna give you a hard time just for breathing. But again, it's not going to stop until we continue. We can't give up. We have to move forward. And that's the only way we're going to get our community to where it needs to be. We are, unfortunately, light years backwards from where we should be compared to any surrounding county. And there's no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. Literally every county around us is way ahead of us in almost everything. There is no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that. We have the ability to advance in so many things. Pick a project and move forward with it. We don't need these little, just little tidbits and people vote for things without even looking at it and yes sir, no sir, and we're gonna do it. No, let's do the right things. Let's move the money around. Let's fix some streets. We can't fix everything, so people need to understand that. Just Mr. Serna indicated earlier, just, me as an elected official, we read the comments too, guys. We read the comments too. I've heard everybody call me, from good things to bad things. And, we're out there trying. Well, at least I am. We're out there trying and just trying to make it better. And if you have suggestions, please let me know. Something that you think needs to be changed, let me know. That's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're here for. We're here to work for you. We're here to work for you. But again, understand that we need help. Come volunteer. Come check it out. Come see it for yourself. Because again, we're not 8 to 5 people. I'm, like Mr. Serna as a DA. I'm the county attorney, and we're 24/7. We are 24/7. We work with law enforcement at all hours of the night, all the time. So we're trying to make this community a safer community as prosecutors, which I find it amazing how we are tasked with fighting crime. And we are the ones that are getting the hardest time to do things. It doesn't make sense. Now, I do say though that, that our job is to fight crime. So who are the people that are most interested in us? I'll leave that part like that.
Well, AJ, it's been great. It was all that we were waiting for. The first, I know we've been after you for a while to give us an interview, and for whatever reason, we know you've been busy out there, and we had to ask another time. Seeing the meeting on Monday, like I said, for lack of better words, there was interaction, and we were kind of curious of what brought that up, and how are things going in your, since you've been elected, and we wanted to touch on that. So we appreciate that, taking the time. We're going on at about an hour already. I don't know if you have anything that we haven't touched on that you wanted to go ahead and bring up.
Just something I wanted to give credit to my staff, and I wanted to talk about a little bit about the things that we've done, even given the situation that we have. I want to shout out to my staff that we have, and I got the numbers here. So just at a 6-month recap, we've been able to have, and so again, we've had 4 court settings in county court. I wish we had more, but we don't set the court. In those 4 court settings, we got 17 guilty pleas back in March. We got 14 back in June, 18 in May, and another 6 in July. However, those are the guilties, right? Those are the guilties. We've had to prepare for 910 cases in just those 4 courts, okay? I want to make it clear. We don't know who's showing up. We just know who's on the docket. We get told, hey, Mr. Iracheta, you got 200 cases that are set for, March 30th. Be ready. Out of those 200 cases, I have no idea who's showing up. Me and my staff have to prepare for every single one of those cases. That's a lot of work. All right. We have to be ready for every single one of those things.
And who sets those court dates?
That would be the county court's office. That'd be your county judge and his staff. Yeah. So in that time, I want to say that we've been able to assess over $26,000 in fines, over $14,000 in court costs. I think we're already close to about $10,000 in restitution money returned to victims. And I mean, that's over $40,000 in fines and court costs. If we had a county court at law where we had, a judge that may be a lawyer that could also be separate from the county judge that's running administrative aspects of the county, we can move these things a lot more, man. We can have more hearings. We can have trials. We can move a lot of things. In that time, we've also been able to acquire over 2 protective orders with over 4 years of protective orders granted. We're working on another one. So, I mean, we're moving and we're shaking with everything that we've gotten. And so I want to give a big shout out to my staff and just thank them for the work that they've been doing with every hurdle that's been placed in front of them and every task that I've asked them to do. And they've been doing a great job, and it should only get better from here. So I know I stress them out a lot because I tend to be a fighter. I tend to be that guy. But again, I thank them for putting up with me. And so I wanted to say that. But to everybody that's watching, I also want to remind everybody, us elected officials, you have to hold us accountable. And how you hold us accountable is you hold us accountable at the ballot box. Okay. So everybody that's watching, you need to register to vote. Voting is important. Okay. I don't care which political party you're part of. I don't care which, who you support in those bigger aspects of things. That's your right. You do what you want to do, but your local elections matter. Okay. Your local elections are going to touch your life more than any big state or any, national level, election. Those are important too, but your local elections are going to touch your lives every single day. Those are your neighbors. Those are your friends. Those are the people that control your potholes in your street, control the DWI cases, all of that. So these matter. Register to vote. Go out and vote, right? Don't be influenced just by some political party, some situation. Don't get paid $10 to vote. 1, that's illegal. And 2, do what's right. Enough is enough of the old way of doing things. Don't be fooled with the same old stories and the little tidbits of people making themselves look right or look better. Everybody makes mistakes, myself included. But let's give some new people some chances, or let's get somebody else in there. Let's rotate some of these positions. Okay. That's okay to do. Okay. I mean, hold them accountable. What have they done? Are they only doing it during election year, or have they been working their butts off the whole term? Right. I made it a point and you can ask my staff right now. I made a point. I'm not going to be one of those guys that you only see year 4. Unfortunately, you're going to have to see this face for 4 years until you guys get rid of me. I'm going to keep fighting for what's right and keep fighting for my community. So I ask y'all to do the same thing. Either get involved or go vote. Don't just be on the keyboard. That's good, right, to an extent, but let's do more than that. Get out there, volunteer, run yourself, get in there. It's a lot harder on the other side.
Yeah, it is. Well, we can definitely appreciate that aspect of it. And we appreciate you joining us, AJ, and taking some time with us to explain these things that are going on in our community, in our county, that, like I said, many people don't really notice unless somebody from, they would think you're from the inside, you're the county attorney, is actually explaining to us. Because as we know, Maverick County Commissioner Court just sometimes doesn't give us the full story of what is going on.
No. So again, I campaigned on transparency, and I will continue to do that to the best within the law. There's some stuff as a prosecutor I can't tell you guys, but it'll come out soon enough. You know, some stuff. But again, you know, anything that I can do, if you know anything that I can explain, I'd be more than happy to let y'all know within reason. You know, we're going to continue to fight whatever we can do and continue to fight crime. And that's why we work with law enforcement. I want to thank all the boots on the ground, every law enforcement department that I work with. I work with every local, state, and sometimes federal departments. And I thank you guys for putting in such hard work out there. And we will continue to try to do our part on our end, you know, with resources or without. We're going to do the best that we can. So again, if they decide not to give me a dime, that's okay. I'm still gonna do the best that I can. Now, I wish it was different, right? But we're gonna do the best we can. And if they won't help us, then we'll help ourselves. And ultimately, thank you everybody for taking this opportunity. I just got a question. Did I get more viewers than Serna?
Yeah, you did.
All right. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you were hitting close to 50 there for a while. Yeah, you got more than set.
All right.
Something I'll talk about later on. Right?
A little pride bet there on the side.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, again, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. We hope to see you again sometime soon. Don't be such a stranger. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more views on the back end on this, not just live. So people like to hear from their county attorney and their district attorney on what's going on in the community. So thank you very much, man, and have a good rest of your week.
Thank you, and again, just everybody, please, if you think anything that I said made sense, if you think our office should be funded, if you think any office in the county, you know, or wherever your precinct is needs more resources, you're allowed to reach out to your commissioners. They get to vote on these things. Okay. It's not just one person decides everything. They get to vote. Put the pressure on them. If you think it should be allocated more, then do it. Tell them, send them a letter, give them a phone call. Their information is public. So is mine. You know, that's the only way we're going to make change, folks. That's the only way they're going to make change. So appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to continue to fight for my office and in turn, continue to fight for the citizens that put me here and even the citizens that voted for the other side. I'm going to fight for everybody. So I appreciate the time, Isaac. I'll be glad to come back anytime. And everybody take care, okay?
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, we went back to back today with our district attorney and then our county attorney to interview. Like I said, we saw them have some interaction with Maverick County's Commissioner's Court this Monday. So we reached out to both of them so they can have some questions or answer some questions that we had from that meeting. And you can go back in our page and we have that meeting. We have both of their interactions chopped up, the videos, so you can go ahead and look specifically whether you want to see Mr. Serna addressing the Commissioner's Court, if you want to see AJ address Commissioner's Court this past Monday about their budgets and what they feel that, you know, their offices should be getting a little bit more of the slice of the pie, so to speak. I want to thank everybody for joining us. We did have a long one today, 2 hours. We had back-to-back Maverick County Attorney AJ Iracheta, and we also had a District Attorney Roberto Serna. We appreciate both of them coming on. Guys, we want to go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors, Eat Fit Eagle Pass Meal Prep Service, 830-513-4832. Guys, if your diet is bad, there's no way you can grow in your fitness, in your workouts. So hit up Eat Fit Eagle Pass for a meal prep service that's gonna knock you out. Rodriguez Consulting and Services, 830-971-4068. Guys, these guys can prepare taxes. These guys can set up your budget, your business plans. These guys can take care of any legal notice that needs to be sent out. Not legal notice, but any kind of document that needs to be sent out on your behalf. And they work real great at accommodating to your schedule. So make sure you give them a call. Again, that was Rodriguez Consulting and Services, 830-971-4068. El Agave Liquors, 830-757-6655. Take a visit them for the best value out there on liquor. And Viva Canine Dog Training, Grooming, and Boarding Center. Guys, send your dog out to somebody you know, you trust out there at Viva Canine, 830-513-3523. Again, our Cash App is available. Cash App, The Rising Texan Media, or $ The Rising Texan Media. We appreciate any kind of donations that you guys want to send our way. We also have our GoFundMe that we're trying to collect for legal representation. We're still looking for somebody to help us out. We've talked to several people. I've been ill the past couple of days, guys, so it's been a struggle trying to get some of these people on the phone. We've been trying to get some quotes, and we've been to use the funding that you guys sent us out, donated to help us with our legal services with the lawsuit that we got from State Representative Eddie Morales. Just recently, we are going to have on Friday our protective order hearing, so we will be doing that this Friday. We want to ask you guys again, if you guys can donate. If you can't, we're still going to be here doing the best we can, just like we did today, to provide you transparency and what is actually going on in the city of Eagle Pass and city of Maverick County. Thank you for joining in, guys. That's all for today. Y'all have a